getting you ready for the weekend before the Rams and the Patriots face off in Super Bowl 53. The Rams getting there with a call against the Saints. We will cover that. The Baltimore Ravens get a new 4-year extension for their head coach, John Harbaugh, and that extension announced yesterday. The coach speaking today on the changes the team would see, on the way that the coaching staff will be structured, and how Lamar Jackson might go into this offseason preparing for next year.
He's going to work at it. He's going to work at it really hard. Who he works with, where he works it with, I'll leave that to him to answer if he wants to answer. But I'm quite sure that he'll be working at it really hard, and he already is. And throughout the course of the offseason, he's going to throw the ball a lot. He's going to have his receivers and throw the ball to him. He's already told me that. And all those other things. He should come back. I expect him to come back a better quarterback, skill-wise, than he was when he left. And he's determined to do that.
Let's get to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. A celebratory day for John Harbaugh, gets his extension with the Ravens. Didn't necessarily want to talk a lot, though, Ian, about what led to the Ravens and this extension for Harbaugh. What can you tell us about the way that process played out after a 4-5 start where they ended up making it to the playoffs?
Yeah, the way they started certainly put his status in doubt. We talked about it a bunch at the time, and then he led that dramatic march to the playoffs. And what Harbaugh wanted all along wasn't just like a little Band-Aid deal, wasn't a vote of confidence. He wanted a real show from the organization that they were invested in him for the future, and that came with a 4-year new contract. Not an extension. They ripped up his own deal, did a new contract now to be among the highest paid coaches in the NFL. And he gets exactly what he wants, which is the ability to build now for the future. So you're able to hear Harbaugh say a bunch of different things, including that Joe Flacco is going to have a really good market, including that Lamar Jackson is going to come back a better player, including some of the players they would like to keep, including C.J. Mosley. All of that happened with the backdrop of the Ravens and Harbaugh trying to make a new deal over the course of the past couple of weeks. Meanwhile, there were some teams, Miami Dolphins, for instance, that were at the very least watching his status, trying to see if he'd become available. He just never, ever did.
Able to keep things going with the continuity there in Baltimore. Ian, there was a call, a pretty loud call from the southeastern part of the United States for accountability after a no call against the Saints. Mikel Roby-Coleman goes high there on Tommy Lee Lewis. No flag, but he did get a fine this week. $26,739 for that hit late in the fourth quarter of the NFC Championship game. So perhaps not the accountability that some people were looking for, Ian, and perhaps Coleman is going to appeal this?
He is going to appeal, though, obviously on video. I mean, you see what happened. But he is going to appeal it, perhaps for the same reason a lot of players appeal it. Not to say I didn't do it, but remember, players are not making full game checks for the playoffs, and there are provisions in the CBA about excessively fining players who don't make their usual salary for the playoffs. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was cut down significantly just to match the fines percentage compared to what he actually would make. But no, this was not an admission by the NFL in any sort. This is simply just saying there was a helmet-to-helmet hit on this. It's not the NFL saying we're fining you because this should have been a pass interference call. The NFL has done what they've already did, which is have Al Riveron call Sean Payton. And my understanding is that's basically the protocol, and that's what has happened so far. I wouldn't expect any public admission, at least until Roger Goodell talks next week.
Yeah, we'll see if the momentum keeps up for people making calls for penalties to be reviewable. John Harbaugh suggested that was something he had wanted a long time during his availability earlier today after he got that extension. Extensions for some coaches. Some coaches get fired. Scott Linehan let go by the Dallas Cowboys. Ian, what can you tell us about the search for a new offensive coordinator?
Well, the Cowboys are at the Pro Bowl now, and they've remained mum on their final official plans. Jason Garrett didn't even talk to reporters today because he didn't want to officially say what they're going to do on their offense. But here is my understanding of where it stands now, the expected look of their offensive staff. Jason Garrett obviously still in place as the head coach, not expected to be the play caller. They really like him as the more walk-around coach, kind of the overseer. Kellen Moore, who was the quarterback's coach last year, expected at this point to fill the role of offensive coordinator. Then John Kidna, who just joined the staff, doesn't have an official title yet, expected at this point to be the quarterback's coach. Doug Nussmeier, the tight ends coach, will also have either an advanced role or more say than he's had in the past.
So they keep some continuity, but they definitely want some change in that offensive room for the Dallas Cowboys. NFL Network
people
Insider.
Love Kellen Moore. Yeah. This is a bright young coach.
A guy who started his career as a player, now with another opportunity. One of many guys who go from the quarterback position to the play caller position. Ian Rappaport there reporting on the Cowboys, looking for a new OC. The New England Patriots at work this week, getting ready for Super Bowl 53. Julian Edelman, Kent State alum, looking ahead to facing Sean McVay, Miami, Ohio alum. The two guys played in college, and we'll hear that a million times next week.
He's a stud. He's my age, and he's leading an organization to a Super Bowl. It's unbelievable, and it's a testament to how much he knows the game, how hard he works. I love seeing it. He's a Mac guy. He's a Mac guy. So, you know that Coach McVay and that coaching staff is going to have that team, ready. And, we're going to have to take advantage of the preparation time that we have and get ready too.
The Rams back at practice this week. C.J. Anderson was listed with an illness yesterday. Our Steve Weich reported that he will be fine going ahead to next week. Greg Zuerlein also seen in a boot. Special teams coach said that was not too much of an issue. It was something that happened during warmups. He was still able to kick that 57-yard field goal that led to that celebration as the Rams were on their way to the Super Bowl. Here's some notes on the Rams. 1-2 all-time in the Super Bowl. They won against the Titans in Atlanta. This game going to be played in Atlanta as well. The 2001 Rams went 14-2, lost to the Patriots. We'll see how they do this time. Time to get the keys to the game. Again, we've only got one game, so you have to get both sides of it. Our GM, Charlie Casserly, is back. We had the Patriots keys earlier. Charlie, give us the Rams keys to knocking off the Patriots and giving them their second straight Super Bowl loss.
Well, number one, you've got to mix your coverages to confuse Brady, and you've got to blitz him and pressure him from the inside. Here, Tennessee, 5 guys are marked at the line of scrimmage. Edelman is to the left-hand side. He's covered by that defender coming over there, and now you see Brady has nowhere to go with the ball as they confuse him with the coverages and the number of guys rushing. Now, how about this one? 4 guys standing up, but is that what's going to happen? Of course not. Now, we have the defender who drops into coverage in the middle of the field. The receivers are covered up top, and here come the blitzers on the inside and the pressure and the sack on Brady. 2 completely different looks confuse Brady. That's your game plan to stop him. Now, here you go. You want to run the ball? Keep Brady on the bench. You got to run at those linebackers. The linebackers and the safeties, to me, you get physical people on them. That's what Miami did. That's what Detroit did. That's what Tennessee did. They ran the ball at those linebackers and were more physical, and that's how they beat them. Now, Patriots run a lot of man defense. You got to have man beaters. Here you go. Outside receiver is going to come inside, legally pick off. We'll call it legal. Who knows? It wasn't called. And you have man beaters by crossing your receivers. Now, linebackers, Patriots don't cover running backs very well. Here you're going to see the outside receivers are going to go down. They're covered, but the linebacker has got to cover. That's Van Noy on the running back. Van Noy had a disadvantage because he went in motion, but Van Noy is not athletic and not fast. Go after 53 Van Noy in coverage, and I think you can beat the safeties too. Linebackers and safeties, go after them when you throw the ball.
You've given us both sets of keys, Charlie. Now you got to tell us who wins this game and why.
I'm going to go with Brady and Belichick. I picked against them the last 2 weeks, but here's why I think they're going to win. First of all, I think they'll run the ball, dominate time of possession, and they'll keep the Rams and that great offense on the bench. That's number one. Number two, I think Belichick will come up with enough schemes to take away Cooks deep, keep the ends outside, take away the bootleg, and get pressure on Goff. And guess what? Brady, another Super Bowl. Oh, my goodness. Belichick, another Super Bowl, okay? Hey, they have enough jewelry boxes. They probably got to go buy one. Buy them a jewelry box, will you?
Well, Charlie, they said that people picking against them motivated them. Perhaps now the Rams are going to be the team to try extra hard as you've picked the Patriots to win another Super Bowl. RGM, Charlie Casserly.